Environment monitoring. I'm going to talk about our system Inteligeo and the Brasil MAIS program, which is a huge program in Brazil for monitoring deforestation. The main takeaways from this presentation will be that there is a huge program in Brazil. I'll try to give you a notion of how big it is. We have representatives from the company or service provider that runs the IT part of this program. It is also has FOSS4G underlying it, but I'm not going to talk about this platform for the company. I'm going to talk about a tool that the federal police uses to leverage all this information inside the institution and to other institutions in the Brazilian government. So the program is huge. It is a multi-million-dollar program, annual program, that it's designed to provide the Brazilian government with information on what changes in the forest. So if you have a clear cut, if you cut trees down, or if you have a new mining operation, or if you have a clandestine landing strip where drug dealers will cut down a small strip in the woods and they will land planes in there with drugs and guns. So we want to know about this and as fast as possible. And we have developed a platform, easy to use, accessible on the internet. I'll show you on URL here that you can access the public part of it, which has a lot of statistics that you can follow. But we need that information with the internal data of the federal police. So the information that the service provider has given us, with our information, we need that to make decisions and act. This is the story of our tool. So we started in 2009. It was all proprietary based. There were a lot of milestones that we went through this period. And in 2017, we had the first fully open source stack in our internal tool. In 2022, we took everything we had and we added it on top of GeoNode. So I already spoke about this a little bit. I'm not going to get into details about this. And in last year, other agencies started using the same tool. So we have a tool named Inteligeo, and we have a service named Inteligeo. The Inteligeo service is only for the Brazilian Federal Police. But other agencies started using the tool to provide their own services with their own data for the internal public and for the general public. So we have 5 agencies currently implementing it or using Inteligeo, other than the federal police. How big is Brasil MAIS? It monitors 2.9 million kilometers square weekly. That's a third, about a third from Brazil's area weekly. And a huge part of the Brazilian territory daily too. So we have alerts of things that changed yesterday. I'll be able to show you a little bit about it, but won't go into much details because we don't know the operational implications of that. I will provide you a quick demo of the service here, but SECOM has communicated to me that they use MapServer, GeoServer, PostGIS on the background. If you have any questions to them, they will be here too. And they handle 46 million monthly tile views and serve more than 500 public institutions with more than 100,000 users. These platforms that I'm going to show you now. Let's just close this one. Got you here. So I have already skipped a few steps to get to here. This is the map of the changes in the land in the last month. On the monitored areas, there's part of the area that is monitored and part that is not. And this is the last month. So last month we got more than 5,000 alerts only for clear cut. So if you drill down here, we have things in the north, and then things all over Brazil because there are protected areas, forest areas all over Brazil. But this is what happened last month. Something's going on here. I'll just refresh it. So every single public institution has access, every public institution in Brazil is able to access this service here. So the institutions like IBAMA that monitor the good use of the land, and if you do something irregular here, they will find the properties. But there are also changes that are permitted. So if you get a license, you can do some of these things. It will show up in the system, but once somebody gets in here and takes a look at it, I have to put a little bit more work. This is a very small patch, but you get to see the images before and after. So you can see for yourself if that's a false positive, if it really happened, or if it just, I don't know, some occasional mistake that may have filtered in here. But we don't care very much about small stuff like that. We care when it's a lot of things that's happening very quickly in a large area. So there's probably something going on in here. I'm not going to zoom in here, but this is for last month. If we change the filters, we can have more time or more specific filters or different data. This is for clear cut. We can have mining operations, for example. There's a different filter here for that. There's also some filters for public security only that the regular government institutions can't see. So I'm not going to get into too much about this, but this is huge. This is provides service to a lot of people, and you can also see the imagery on the background. I'm going to zoom in on a neutral area here without any alerts. So let's say if I want to see stuff in October, you click on here, November, so you can compare. So you can go back in time. There's a different interface here where you can go back each day and try to find out exactly when stuff happened. So this is the main platform of Brasil MAIS. We bring this information inside the federal police, and we join it with our own data so that we can make decisions and work with it. But the thing is, it's GeoNode. So we can't use GeoNode exactly as it is. So we built on top of it, and we made GeoNode able to provide for our needs. The first thing we did was take everything that we had on Inteligeo version 4 and it ported it to GeoNode. In my first presentation, I spoke a little bit about giving back, so we have that on our roadmap that at some point we'll be able to make pull requests of specific functionality, because the entire system is not very suitable for sharing with the entire world because it's too specific. But some of the improvements are general, so those we can contribute to upstream. So we build on the FOSS4G stack. We run GeoNode, PostGIS, GDAL. I'll show you a small demo where we use GDAL on the backend, GeoServer and FastAPI, because we have stuff on our system, like we support processes. If we wanted to include the code into GeoNode, it would be too much of a maintenance burden. So we just put a sidecar API on it. We didn't release it. So there's a sidecar with these internal processes. For example, if I want to connect to a NAS backend, where's that code? That's code to this part. If I want to integrate with the authentication service of the Maxa contract we have, we put it on this part. We want to bring in data from Brasil MAIS, we put it into this part. So that's a sidecar FastAPI. And we introduce a lot of user-friendly tools for non-specialists to integrate with, and also integrate it with the authentication, federal authentication for all the users in Brazil, so that they already have a user registry. So you can change your password in a single place, so you can use this. This was a requirement, and I'm going to talk a bit about it later. And yeah, I already spoke about FastAPI. Let's check the Inteligeo demo. So that's what GeoNode looks like, actually. Those of you who know GeoNode will notice that it's a bit different. You have a different header here. Those of you that are familiar with GeoNode will notice that there are a few differences. Let's just open the main screen here. So we have the visual identity that's required for Brazilian websites, Brazilian governmental websites. There's we changed a lot of the texting back here. It's going to scroll down because there are so many layers. We changed this text a little bit, and we added a lot of stuff to the interface. For example, if a user of ours needs to report a bug, he will use this button. If you click on this, the tool will take a screenshot, and you can provide the information about the problem, and it will go straight to the developers. So you can report, if you're inside the map, for example, if you're here, and you go to this tool, it will take a screenshot, send a full JSON formatted file with whichever layers were open, what map was open, what tools were active, and it will take a screenshot. So in this way, you can report not only a problem with the tool, the Inteligeo tool, but you can also report a problem with the actual data. So that's just one thing. I'll point out a few more. I won't demonstrate all of them. For example, this is a link to an external service. So if you're doing your work on this area and you want to see what does this look like on, for example, Wikimapia. So you just click here. It will take you to Wikimapia. We don't need any licenses for that because it's just a link to an external website. So if you go back and forth, this doesn't help much because it's to a remote area, but it's the same area. Doesn't help much. In urban areas, you see this. It's very useful because there's extra information on these other services. So there are a lot of them. You can even go to Waze or stuff like that on the same area. We have other tools like if you want to task a satellite, you can use this system to task a satellite. This is new. The GeoNode doesn't have this. Let's just close this up here. So I select an area, fill in some information, set a date, set a type of satellite. I have to fill some stuff in because this is expensive. Somebody's going to take a look at this request and approve it. And then I can send it. I will not click on here because this is expensive, not for testing. So this is what I wanted to show you. We have integrated Brasil MAIS data here. You can see the data on the background. I'm going to talk about it later. But we can integrate the imagery sources too. For example, if I want to see planescope images here, I can just click in here. I can select the area that I want to check out. And I'll set a specific date. For example, today is 6. Today is 6, that's right. And I'll say I want pictures from yesterday and today. And already did everything, search. Let's try some more. This is rough around the edges. We may have a few, let's try the different service here. This is not quite working, I have to check it out. Let's go a few years back and try for high resolution imagery. Okay, so in the specific area I selected, and this specific time frame I selected, my Maxar provider has identified 26 scenes. So the first one, for example, the first one is 30 centimeters world view 3. So if I want to take a look at it, I'll just click on here. There's something going on here. This is really slow right now. Well, let's try, just check this one, okay. So it has loaded in the system. So that's the purpose of the system. We had to load everything together. So I can check the Brasil MAIS change detection algorithms. I can click on here, see the before and after imagery. So this is before, this is after. I can load other imagery here. For example, if I wanted to show September PlanetScope mosaic here. Sorry, so I click somewhere I should have. So I want to show September ImageScope mosaic here. So I'll just put this up. Sorry, I should probably do like this. So this is the mosaic. I can hide it or show it. And I can use the comparison tool. This is technically all very simple, but it's really helpful for us in the field. So we use this tool to be able to fully utilize the data from Brasil MAIS, which is like a fire hose. It's a lot of data, and we have to make sense of it before we start moving all the public services that's going to act in the field. I'll stop the demo now. I'll finish the slides, then we can come back to it as time allows us. So those maps you saw in the background, we can do that also with imagery in our hard drives. So we have a storage solution with about 170 terabytes of raster data, which is from previous contracts, previous cooperations with JICA, and we can load that on the map. We don't need to download the images so that you can open it with ArcGIS or QGIS, or you can open that, you can see that on the website. So that same tool, you can switch between PlanetScope, Maxar, and local files, local library of files. And you can do the same searches by date and by resolution. And that's the FastAPI sidecar application on the back. But the thing is, that specific solution, bringing Inteligeo 4, version 4 functionality into GeoNode was a Herculean task. I don't know how many of you have tried to customize GeoNode. By show of hands, have any of you have tried to change the functionality? So it's a tall order, very difficult to do, but it's a great platform. So we had sponsorship from the ministry. I'll show more sponsorships a little bit later, but we have a very strong sponsorship from them. They provided 5 people for us for 2 years now. So we have 2 full stack devs, 3 project managers, 1 for helping us with the paperwork, another one to help us with testing, another one to help us with managing the backlog, the issues, the backlog, and whatever's falling behind. So he takes a general look at it, at the hundreds of issues that we have on our GitLab repository. And the sponsor set baseline requirements. So they said, we will sponsor you, but we want to use it. What did they need? They need to have this authentication integrated. They need to have the visual identity adjusted to comply with the regulations, Brazilian regulations. And they had architectural requirements. So we spoke a little bit about this on the presentation just before, that there were changes made to how you deploy GeoNode so that you can make it able to cater to this many people. And also, MGI is a power user. There is a state, a division of MGI that's called SPU, Secretaria do Patrimônio da União, that controls the entirety of the properties of the Brazilian government, like buildings and pieces of terrain and things near to the beach that are protected by law. So they are using the system now. They are installing, they were one of the 5 institutions that have brought this in. Also, MGI wants to make this tool available for all the municipalities. So that's a long-term project. Maybe we'll see some more progress on this next year. This QR code is the direct link to what I'm going to show you just after this. That's the impact of the Brasil MAIS project, which is huge. I'm going to talk a bit about the impact of Inteligeo that is still gaining traction, But this thing here is huge, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. So we can't throw this information out, we have to use it wisely. Just quick stats here for Inteligeo. That our deployment on the Brazilian Federal Police is very tight, it's working great, but we don't have many people using it because we need training, and our application is still very rough around the edges. So it has all the functionality, but it's difficult to use. You have to know where to click, where to look for stuff, and we're mitigating that with training. We have trained more than 200 police officers by now in these 2 years. So we have made a few training sessions, and we're going to scale this up next year because the interface has stabilized. There's a lot of stable functionality. So if you want to check this out, check this link here out. You know what? I'm going to change a little bit so that we can do this faster. I'm going to go to this dashboard in just a bit. So besides MGI, we had other sponsors in the lifetime of the project because this traces back to 2009. So it started with JICA. Taichi-san here, a representative of JICA, was in Brazil at this time, and he started the project in the Federal Police. That gave origin to Inteligeo. So the thing was, they brought in a lot of ALOS program satellite imagery. So how would we handle that? We didn't have a GIS system. So how I go about this? We store everything in a network folder. How do we handle this? So we started Inteligeo at this time. So these are big ministries in Brazil. They have been supporting us from the start. UN has supported. The Brazilian Federal Police has been executing it all this time. This is a research institution. So they have given us funds to overcome key milestones. And these two associations, they have sponsored my coming here to this event. So they have paid for my costs, and they have supported all various related initiatives to these projects. A Associação Nacional dos Peritos Criminais Federais e a Escola Nacional de Perícias. Now we can spend a little bit of time on this dashboard. This is public. You can use that URL from the QR code. If you need it after the presentation, can come back, I'll give it to you. This is all the statistical information about the usage in the program because it's a large investment and we keep track of it. But what I would like to show you now is this. So this is the investment up here. Oh, so where's the investment? It's up here, right? No, it's this one. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is the investment. During the whole project, this is 6 million reais. So it's about a little less than it every month. So it's about, at this time, with all the investment that was accumulated, this is about 5, 6. This is less than, this is about $40 million, little less than $40 million a year for 4 years of program. And we had this amount of return. This is just the seized goods. There is not a fine that maybe the farmer won't ever pay. We seized more than $3 billion in assets for that amount of investment. So this is huge. These numbers take a while to set in. So if you go into the website, you see all the reports and everything here. So this is the 500 public institutions that take part in the program using the information. So we use this information. We want to use it better. That's why I built the tool, the Inteligeo tool, to use it inside the institution. If you want to speak to the SCCON people, they are sponsors of the event, and they can answer technical questions about the platform that they provide their service in. So I think we can open for questions. How much time do you have?